Has your gut instinct ever led you astray? The answer is probably yes, which is rough because they tell you that you're always supposed to trust your gut. How are you supposed to know when you can trust your gut and when you can't? Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome back to things that I've learned from the science of decision making that are just broadly useful in everyday life. And remember, if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, and share these videos. It really helps get the word out. Today I want to talk about something called unconscious thought theory. But before we can get to that, which was like 2004, let's go all the way back to Freud. If you remember, Freud broke up the psyche into three parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. The id, as a refresher, is the part of your psyche that responds to the pleasure principle. Its goal is to just get you pleasure. This is an oversimplification. The superego is the internalized voices from the culture, from religion, from your parents, something that we sometimes refer to as our conscience. And the ego, operating on the reality principle, is supposed to navigate and harmonize the id and the superego. How does it do that when you face big consequential decisions? You know how sometimes, anecdotally, you'll have your best idea or your moment of clarity when you're taking a walk or when you're in the shower or when you're driving a long drive. In 2004, two Dutch researchers set out to study that question. Is it actually true that you make the best decisions when you're distracted from the decision itself? And what those Dutch scientists found is that the people who were distracted made better decisions. Super cool stuff. Fits very much with what we anecdotally feel. And maybe perhaps that's how the ego works to harmonize the id and the superego. Super cool stuff, except it's been really hard to replicate that experiment. And the more the science has evolved around unconscious thought, the perhaps less likely it is that truly that unconscious thought effect exists. Which is a bummer because that's so often the advice we're given when we're facing big decisions. One of the more recent experiments in unconscious thought theory distracted people, but then actually asked them to think about their thoughts about the question that they were asking. So don't actually think about the question, but think about your thoughts, and they did really poorly. And when was the last time that you faced a big decision where you could completely put it out of your brain and not even think about it? Why does that advice persist, and how are we actually supposed to incorporate this intangible part of decision making? Is there a way to do it where we can actually trust ourselves and our unconscious thought better? The answer to this question is yes. This week's blog post gives you the 4 steps to incorporate all the information that your subconscious is processing into your consequential decisions. You can find that blog post anywhere my blog posts are found, so you can find it on solvingforwhy.substack.com, or you can find it on markschreim.com/blog, or heck, you could go to both of those and help drive the views up on both of those websites. Or you can just make a comment below or DM me and I will send you the blog post directly. All right, that's it. There'll be no video next week, and in February, we dig into financial security in the middle of big life transitions. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next month.